Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Morpheus Crypto. In today's video, we take a look at SXP, a former leading altcoin named Solar, which jumped 300% in only 7 days recently back in March of this year. And now SXP is breaking out above a key resistance level on big volume. We'll dive in and take a look at the charts to see whether or not history may repeat itself as SXP becomes a nice looking swing trade buy setup. We'll also take a look at other leading altcoins in the market right now, especially the large cap DeFi coins, which have been showing amazing relative strength lately. And we'll take a look at where Ethereum and Bitcoin stands as well. So let's go ahead and dive in. First up, let's take a look at the king of crypto. Bitcoin is poised for a potential breakout to a new 2023 high after forming a bullish consolidation for the past several weeks. Now, recently on June 30th, Bitcoin had a bit of a wild day. It formed a pattern called a spinning top. And as you can see here, that's a candlestick pattern which has a long wick on the top and bottom and a small body. And that day closed right at support of the 10-day moving average. But notice that the high of that day and the low of that day was actually above the recent trading ranges. So what that had the effect of doing is washing out both the bulls and the bears. People who bought the breakout here got stopped out when the price didn't hold up. And anybody who would have sold short the breakdown also got wiped out when the price reversed. So that is actually healthy, and that's a good thing for the market. Why is that a good thing for the market? Well, it absorbs overhead supply, so that when the bulls return and the price starts to move back up, it does not require as much buying pressure for the price to rally back up to a new swing high. Now, that day, we actually did stop out of our position in the Morpheus Crypto portfolio, but we actually stopped out with a profit of nearly 3% on the trade from our previous breakout entry point because we had trailed to stop higher. And we are monitoring Bitcoin for a potential re-entry depending on the price action. So you can see here the reason that we're running into resistance at this price level is because that's the prior swing high from April. So that's why it's a key level to watch. So keep an eye on Bitcoin, and we do want to see the next attempt stick. We've had 3 attempts now in the past several weeks, and each attempt does weaken the resistance level. So keep an eye on Bitcoin in the coming days. Next up is Ethereum, which is our proxy for the overall health of the altcoin market. And we can actually see that Ethereum on June 30th performed better than Bitcoin. Whereas Bitcoin formed a spinning top, Ethereum had less volatility to the downside, showed a bit of relative strength, and actually that day broke out above, it formed a bullish reversal pattern and broke out above the high of its recent consolidation above the 1936 level. However, the price only remained there for 2 days and now has drifted back below that breakout level. Currently, Ethereum is still holding up above its 10-day moving average, which is this green line, and it's holding above its prior swing high. If today's low fails to hold and the 10-day moving average is broken, then we look for support to be found at the low of that reversal day, which is right around 1885, with further support of the rising 20-day moving average at 1857 and more significant support of the 50-day MA and the prior swing low at 1835. So those are some key levels to keep an eye on for the short-term trend of Ethereum, which right now could be considered to be a failed breakout that has not held above the pivotal level of 1936, but nonetheless is still holding above its prior swing low. Now, if we zoom into the 4-hour chart of Ethereum, we can see the price action is currently trying to hold support of the 50-period moving average on the 4-hour chart. And we talk about this often in the Morpheus Crypto chat room, that the 50 MA on the 4-hour chart is a great indicator of support and resistance, especially for our style and time frame of swing trading. So we'll keep a close eye on Ethereum. And if you are long Ethereum, then you may want to consider a stop just below this swing low with additional support levels as mentioned earlier. When Ethereum reversed higher on June 30th, Litecoin, LTC, actually outperformed Ethereum and showed relative strength. And Litecoin last week exploded 30% higher and closed at a new 52-week high, closing at its highest price since April of 2022, and doing so on volume that was the highest volume since November of 2021. Now, currently, Litecoin is on a pullback, as we can see here. and it's currently testing the breakout level. But given the massive volume that it had last week, we're looking for that to hold up. In fact, if we take a look at the shorter term daily chart, we can see that Litecoin has just bounced off support of its 10-day moving average today, the green line. And earlier, we sent a trade alert to Morpheus Crypto members notifying them of our pullback. And we can see here that massive volume day where the price rallied more than 30% in one day on huge volume. And it's been pulling back on lighter volume. So Litecoin could be setting up for another run. And in fact, I wanted to show you this chart, which we showed to members in the chat room on last Friday. And this actually shows you that Litecoin broke out and led Ethereum on the way up. Notice that after the big red bar down, that Litecoin had already broken out to a new swing high in just 3 bars, a new intraday high, I should say. And Ethereum, after that first big down bar, still took a little bit more time to bottom and actually took another hour until it actually broke out above its prior high of the morning. So Litecoin has been showing relative strength to Ethereum since then and is definitely worth a look. Last month, large cap DeFi crypto Compound, COMP, had a massive breakout and more than doubled in just over a week. As you can see here, the volume rocketed to all-time high levels. Currently, we're looking for a pullback entry in Compound. We're looking for a potential test of the 10-day moving average, which is currently just above the $53 level. An undercut below the 10-day moving average is fine as long as the price snaps back above that level within 1 to 2 days. Now, as we can see here, the volume has been lighter on the pullback, although still rather substantial. We think that comp needs a little more time to correct, either by price, such as a further retracement, or perhaps it will just go sideways and consolidate a bit, which would form a bit of a bull flag, especially if we could see that pattern for 1 to 2 weeks on the weekly chart. But we're definitely keeping comp on our radar for potential entry. Actually, we caught the initial part of this breakout last month and made about a 30% gain in just 2 days. We got out quickly, and now we're looking for a re-entry on this pullback. So we'll send a trade alert to members of Morpheus Crypto if we spot a low risk entry point in Compound. In addition to COMP, keep an eye on the other large cap DeFi plays such as Maker. MKR also had a massive breakout last week, and we can see here that briefly popped above the $1,000 level, which is a key psychological resistance level. MKR now is pulling back on higher volume today, but is still well above its 10-day moving average and its prior breakout level. So we're keeping an eye on MKR for a potential pullback entry. Part of our trading strategy is we do not chase breakouts. We wait for a low-risk pullback entry, which often gives us nice entry points that get us in the money as soon as the price action heads back up. AAVE is another large cap DeFi that's been showing relative strength lately after breaking out alongside of Compound, which led the breakout among the sector. However, AAVE has been the laggard of the 3 cryptos that we just reviewed, but still worthy of keeping an eye on. Finally, let's take a look at Solar SXP. As we mentioned earlier, SXP was a former leader just about 3 months ago, had a massive 300% explosion higher in only 7 days. And you can see the volume picked up to massive levels. And as we always say, volume is the gasoline that drives breakouts. And that certainly was the case with SXP. Now, of course, if something goes up 300% in just a week, obviously it does warrant a significant correction, either a pullback, such as a correction by price, or some type of consolidation, a correction by time, or some combination thereof. But nothing's going to go straight up forever, 300% and continue higher, except maybe some meme coins. But we won't talk about those because we trade technical analysis, not hype. Anyway, we can see here on the SXP chart that the price recently broke out above a downtrending channel that was in place since April. We can see here the peaks that formed about 4 or 5 times. And that downtrending channel actually aligned with the 50-day moving average for about a month. And now today, the price has broken out above that 50-day moving average for the first time in several months. And volume is picking up on track for a high volume day as well. So it's going to depend largely where we actually finish the day. But currently, it looks like SXP is on track to break out above this prior swing high. as marked by this horizontal line here, and above the 50-day moving average. So SXP could be one of the best potential swing trade setups out there right now. And we'd like the risk reward in SXP because we can have a stop relatively tightly below the low of the reversal day here, and in return for a potential large gain, especially if momentum catches on again. Often former market leaders repeat their performance again, so we'll be keeping an eye on SXP for a potential repeat performance. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to head on over to morpheustrading.com to learn more about our crypto swing trading services. We've also got a blog there with lots of great educational information about our trading strategy, so check it out. Be sure to drop your email address on the homepage and receive our free crypto picks every day. Thanks, and we'll see you again in the next episode of Morpheus Crypto.